everybody. Welcome to the Watchung Booksellers podcast, where we bring you conversations from our bookstore's vast community of book professionals who talk about what they do for the love of books. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marnie, and I'm here with my co-producer, Catherine. Hey, Catherine.
Hey, Marnie. Hey, everybody.
And this week's episode is dedicated to helping you get ahead of your holiday shopping with recommendations from our children's and adult book buyers.
From the adult flagship store, we have Asia, our gift buyer who also runs the Thought Daughter Book Club, and Nicole, who we've had on the show recently to talk about cookbooks, but who also buys books for the entire store, and she knows inventory like nobody else.
And from the kids' room, we have Susie, an educator turned bookseller and director of book fairs, and Caroline, who manages the school author events and runs the Young Readers Book Club. And you'll see just how much love they have for every book in the kids' room.
And while Marnie and I usually give a book recommendation at this point of our introduction, today we're going to give you one or two from some of the booksellers who aren't guests on today's show. You'll be able to find this whole list and more on our website and in the store, so you will be armed with some ideas for your friends and family when you are browsing this Festivus Friday.
What's Festivus Friday, you ask? That's our own annual day after Thanksgiving sale, where we offer 20% off of everything in the store. So get your pen and paper, or you can use our pre-made list and get ready to shop.
I'll start with my favorite read of 2025. It was Heartwood by Amity Gage. It is a mystery and a literary gem about being lost, about being a mother, and about finding community. And she is just one of my favorite authors, and it's another beautifully written story from her. How about you, Marnie?
My pick for 2025 is a debut novel by Megan Cummins called Atomic Hearts. It's a coming-of-age story that follows a young girl named Gertie as she navigates her life with some friends and family addiction and her ways of survival. Also about Megan Cummins, she was a former student of a friend of the store and one of our favorite authors, Alice Elliott Dark.
Next, I'm going to mention picks from Emma and Diane. Emma's pick of the year is Slayers of Old by Jim C. Hines. It's a fantasy novel about booksellers in Salem, Massachusetts, who saved the world. And Diane's pick is The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny by Kiran Desai. It was a New York Times bestseller, has tons of raves, was on the Booker shortlist, and it's a love story from one of the most popular writers of our time.
And Maddie's pick was The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, which Nicole also loved that book. It's a 2025 debut novel about a retired woman who uses letter writing to make sense of her life. I know we've sold a ton of copies of this in the store already.
Yeah.
And I have a few good friends that are obsessed with this book, so it's a definite must read. And then Azul's pick is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. It's the 2025 prequel set 24 years before the Hunger Games.
And then lastly, I'm going to go with a pick from Sarah. Sarah tends to love the classics and older books. So she didn't pick one from 2025, but she did pick a book that was adapted into a television series this year. And that book was Say Nothing by Patrick Radden Keefe. She said it was perfect for those interested in history, political revolution, and true crime. And I will agree that he is an amazing writer, and that show was an amazing watch. So you could read it first and then watch it, and you will not be disappointed.
Enjoy the conversation, and we'll be back afterward to fill you in on what's coming up in the store.
Good morning. This is Caroline. This is Asia. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Nicole. And welcome to our holiday spectacular.
Jingle bells.
Jingle bells.
We're talking about what we would recommend as our holiday gift guide today. Do you guys, starting out, do you consider yourself a good gift giver?
100% no.
Why?
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
I don't.
Asia.
I feel like even though it's your job title.
well, I'm the gift buyer, not the gift giver, so it's two different things.
Okay.
But I think I do give good gifts, just not at the right time. I feel like it's a lot of pressure around Christmas and birthdays to give a really good gift, which I think kind of psychs me out a little bit, but I feel like I like to give gifts just really randomly. But I'm always like, I'm really forgetful, so I never remember what anybody likes, like that kind of thing. So
Excuses.
yeah, I don't
Well,
think
I hope I don't get you for the grab bag this year. Then.
Sorry, Nicole.
Sheesh, I'm not gonna get anything. I do like gift giving. I do. I never know what to give my family, but I always find things for other people.
I feel like sometimes it's the closest people to you that you're like, actually, I see you every day and I couldn't think of one single thing to give you.
Yeah, it's too hard.
Yeah.
It's just too hard.
Well, I guess that's where we come in because I love those questions. Like it's always, I need a gift for my husband. And then it's like, well, I don't know your husband, like need a little bit more info here.
Exactly.
I'm sure that's how it works here as well at the kids' room.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of gifts for the children in my book club's birthdays. Like the parents will come and be like, they won't read anything that I tell them to read, but they've liked everything in the book club. So can you just give me things that they would like? And so then I'm curating for the kids that I know that come every month, which has been fun.
So does the grandmother come in and say, I need...
It's usually a parent.
It's usually a parent?
Yeah. But it is a lot of grandparents at Christmas time looking for the holidays.
Yeah, I have to say I'm a little out of touch because it's, separate. It's been separate. So I have an 11 and 12-year-old.
Yep.
What are you recommending?
What are they reading? Graphic novels? Are they reading middle reader? Are they like crossing into
they're here in another step. They are reluctant readers.
Okay.
But I want them to have a book.
Okay. Were they like babysitters, club kids?
Nora's definitely more of a graphic novel person, but then she likes, Summer I Turned Pretty. Mm-hmm. She read all those.
Well, that is kind of like what 10-year-olds are reading right now.
It's like the It series. Like she's very much about that.
It is the It series. Honestly, I used to recommend it to 8-year-olds, but then I realized that that's probably not appropriate. But I've been recommending people The Princess Diaries again because...
Oh, that's fun.
Meg Cabot's series is like really witty and diaristic, and it has that same like tone that's lighthearted for readers that love Summer I Turned Pretty. Like that's a whole nother series to explore, and there's lots of romance, but it's all kind of like, I think it's like cheeky and plot heavy in the way that Jenny Han is too.
Okay.
So there's that.
Okay.
Or like
Princess
a lot
Diaries.
of kids that like the Babysitters Club. There's like a cheerleading series called, I think the first one's The Tryout and the Squad, which is a graphic novel, which has been really, really popular for some reason. And we have been only carrying the second book in stock, and everyone's just buying the second book. And I don't know if they know that it's the second book, but we won't tell them.
Is there a new Raina or no?
So she came out with the Cartoonist Club, which is like a co-author. And then there's like a cool like Raina Telgemeier gift book that is more of like a hardcover. I think it's called Big Feelings. Inside the World of Raina Telgemeier.
Okay.
They're laughing because I just looked at the shelf. And that's more of like something a little bit heftier you could put under the tree, or something good for Hanukkah.
What's your go-to picture book?
My favorite picture book right now is Don't Eat Eustace by Lian Cho. It's about a bear who lives in a lighthouse who catches a fish, and the fish goes through all these different antics trying not to get eaten.
It's hilarious. You would love it.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah. It's awesome. All of her books are like, they're not trying to teach you anything. They're first and foremost trying to be funny, which is kind of what you want in a picture book.
Definitely. I do recall reading many picture book more than once in an evening. And there were some I was like, please no.
The repetition gets tiring if you're not enjoying it.
like I would always try and steer, like, why don't we do this one instead? Because like,
you're like, this again, guys.
This again.
What are some books on your gift guide that you would reread over and over?
I absolutely love The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. I think fiction-wise, that is something you could give to anyone, honestly. Your aunt, your grandmother, your mother-in-law. It's a novel told in essays. And it's just how, learning about this woman and her connections to other people via the letters. And she has this odd relationship with Joan Didion, which I don't know where the author came up with that, but it's just like a delightful read. And the character just, she feels so real that, she was real. But that I loved, absolutely loved.
I think any essayist has to have a weird relationship with Joan Didion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she's like a titan of the form.
Totally agree.
Never read Joan Didion, so. Oh no. How about you? What about you? Do you? Well, everyone has a go-to. What's your go-to, you think?
I don't know. This year, I've been reading a lot of old books this year, but I did read a very small. I can't believe I'm saying this. I love this very small nonfiction book because I'm very known to like not read any nonfiction. But I read the new Jenny Erpenbeck book, Things That Disappear. It's like that really tiny little pocket-sized book that's all about losing things. Just in general, it's about people, places, items. There's like one essay where she talks about losing a block of cheese from her refrigerator, which was really interesting. But I think that's also a really good rereadable book because there are always things in those, even though the essays are so short, you don't notice. So that would be a really fun book to like reread over and over again to catch the smaller things that she's talking about. It's very, very pensive, but it's also very funny. Like, I think she incorporates humor in it really well, which I really enjoyed. And it's something you can read very quickly, which for me, I like.
What would you say for like the non-book reader?
That's always, to me, that's always really hard.
That's the hardest part. I think, it's easy to recommend books to a reader, someone who's a reader who likes history or politics or that kind of thing. I always find it hard to, when someone says they're not a reader, because then immediately you're like, well, geez, I don't.
You know what? I think for someone who doesn't really know what to read, I think a fun book recently has been Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think that sold a lot throughout the summer, but I think it's kind of having a resurgence now. Like, a lot of people are picking it up again, which I think is a good, it's a good, like, light read to give to somebody who, if they don't know what they're in the mood for, too, that's a good book to read.
I think that Taylor Jenkins Reid has been, like, a big author for people to pick up reading again.
Hey, I'm Susie. I'm so glad to jump in with you guys.
Okay.
It's great to be here.
Susie's jumping in, and we were talking about what's the difference between somebody not reading in that they're too young to read, and what's the difference between a reluctant reader and all of those categories. Like, parallel to that is somebody coming in being like, my friend just had a baby. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to get them. It's like the first baby in my friend group or whatever. What would be a first starting out baby gift?
Yeah. For me, I always, I think, ask them if they want something for like right now, like a board book that's very durable, or do they want to help build that baby's library into the future? I'm always sort of speechless when people say, well, the baby can't read. And of course they can't, we understand. But I like to go for books that are really for the parents. So books, for example, like when I was raising my first baby, the first night that he came home, we read The Big Red Barn by Margaret Weiss Brown. And as a result, that book was so therapeutic for me, and it has such a near and dear place in my heart because the language and the tranquility of it. Another one like that is Mem Fox. What is that? Time for Bed. It's Nicole Ban who's
Oh
voicing
my gosh.
it too.
My girls loved both of those.
They're so soothing. They're lyrical. They're simple. So when somebody feels a lack of confidence shopping for a baby book, I talk to them about like books that will make the parents feel good. So books that are really lyrical, beautiful, peaceful, reassuring. And then there are books like that you can grow with, that I can mention, like a big shout out to Amy Hest, who carries the torch forward from the amazing Elsa Minarek, who did the Little Bear series, and Lobel, who does Frog and Toad, these books and stories where you just feel so stable. You feel secure, and the world is good, and they're beautiful. So I often, with people who are giving gifts to children in particular who are like pre-literate, so I often tell the gift giver, what can you think of anything about the parents that they like? Because we can be so creative and clever and bring joy to the parents, so that it's almost like a nudge and a wink. You know, maybe a parent who loves to hike and loves nature, and you give the child a book that they really are passionate about as well. I think that's a really fun way to go in. An artist, an engineer, a doctor, you know, it's very fun to do that.
I feel like that's my instinct too when somebody's feeling a little lost, is to go the lullaby, the lyrical route, the soothing safety kind of genre. In word book, my new favorite suggestion has been the John Klassen box set.
I love
of
those.
Your island, your forest, your farm.
Your farm is again, like we're talking about carrying the torch forward. I feel like this new series by John Klassen, it has his signature iconic illustrations with like every, inanimate object has those eyes that he does. But he has a formula, and I mean that in the best of ways, for these books. Right now there's a trilogy, what Caroline just said. And my favorite of them is Your Farm. They're in the second person. So it says, this is your barn. This is your tractor. And they go on like that. But each piece feels like you could pick it up with your thumb and forefinger. And I feel like so many children reach out, like they're looking through a window in a car, and you'll see them pinch something in the horizon. And I feel like these books capture that immediacy. And at the end of each of the books, like I said, it is a formula of the best sort. They each go, and now they're all going to sleep. And you can go to sleep too, and think about what you'll do there tomorrow.
Yeah,
they're the best.
They are
the new Goodnight Moon. They're your, everyone's going to give them Goodnight Moon. So you, gift giver, give them either your island, your forest, or your farm.
It feels like the stage lights rise and then fall in the course of the book. So it has a nice cadence.
Truly.
Okay, but what about you guys? What about a nonfiction reader? Or what do you do with a category you don't usually read?
Essays are fun. I actually always do suggest people nonfiction-wise, especially if you don't want to commit to a memoir or you don't really know what someone is interested in, because memoirs are so personal. I always think that essays are better to give because they're based on the topic they're based more on the topic and less than the person. And so if somebody really likes a certain subject, then if there's a collection of essays on it, that's a good thing to recommend. Also because if you don't really know the person and you don't know what their reading habits are and how busy they are, essays are always helpful because you can pick them up and put them down. So you don't need to read the whole thing in a linear way. You can kind of go back to them. So I think essays are always fun. I always recommend Trick Mirror by Gio Tolentino. That's the only essay book really that I recommend to everybody because it's so funny. And it's so relatable in a lot of ways. That's a book I should reread. I haven't read it in a long time. But you reread it recently, right?
I listened to the audiobook recently.
Yeah.
She reads it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to reread it as well. What about for the hobbyist? I feel like we always, when it comes to gifts, it's the first question is always what hobbies do they have? What are things that you pay attention to gift buying for hobbies? Or Nicole, cookbooks is your domain as well?
It is my domain. There's so many. in preparing for today, I was trying to make a list, and there's just so much, even within cookbooks. Like, how proficient are they at cooking? Are they like a super foodie? In that case, maybe the new book by the author of Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which is Good Things. And so she has a lot of information there as well as recipes, and like goes well beyond just, a cooking, like a recipe. So I would say that for that cooking. There's this great, which think would be a great hostess gift. New York Times Cooking came out with a appetizer deck, which they're laminated recipe cards and picture on one side, recipe on the other, and it's just a great. Who doesn't love appetizers?
So
yeah, who doesn't love appetizers, right? Mm-hmm. Like, love appetizers.
We have lots of like little oven mitts and like dish towels and stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Nicole and I have a lot of fun picking out the kitchen related gifts together, but we have tea towels and ceramic sponge holders and
salt and pepper shakers,
things that you would never even dream of
measuring
looking at a
cups,
bookstore. Yeah.
All of it. And I think that's where you can bundle a gift. Like, you can get a cookbook and like a really nice tea towel to go with it, or a baking book, and we have
cookie stamps and which are really fun.
Like fun measuring cups, and we have a really great assortment of, I would say, fun, kitschy cooking stuff as well. There's like cooking related games and puzzles too that you could pair with cookbooks. We have a lot of other things too, like crafting books. You can pair with craft kits. We have punch needle kits or tie-dye t-shirt kits and stuff. So we have a lot of cool things that you can put together as like a whole gift for someone. For sure. And let's not forget like cocktail books and like so many coffee books. Do we have mugs? We have mugs, right?
We do have mugs.
We have fun coffee mugs.
By the way, for grown-ups, I'm sure you have already talked about a lot of this, but when you're just kind of fishing around with a customer and you're like, do they have a dog? What do they like? I'm sure so many people are going to say, yes, they do have a dog. For the person who you don't know their reading taste, or maybe they're not really a reader, Myra Kalman's Beloved Dog is a book I go back to again and again. It's all of her beautiful paintings.
That's a really good one.
And her incredible, clever, quirky wit and personality. And I've given it when people are grieving for a lost dog. I've given it for the holidays. It is so special. She is so special. Pretty much anything she does, I recommend. But especially she's also so, to me, truly New York. I really love that. And I think that even anybody listening, try to remember to just even come in and look at some pages of that book. I think you'll leave with it.
Yeah, she has really great art and everything.
It came out last year, but One Week in January by Carson Ellis, that's a good New Year's book, gift, in that you didn't see someone during the holidays, so you're going to see them in January. One Week in January she illustrates a section of her diary from 10 years ago, and she reanimates it with current illustrations. And she's a foreword about recognizing some of the joy and the innocence of I think she wrote it when she was in her 20s, and so she was halfway embarrassed about the writing, and then halfway kind of felt precious about her younger self. So it's a nice internal conversation of self, which is a good January theme.
Mm-hmm. And Carson Ellis also does children's books.
She does. She has some great children's books. I think that I don't want to brag. I don't want to compare the numbers of all the stores, but we have to be one of the top sellers of Wildwood, her husband's series that she illustrates, Colin Molloy's series. It's this chunky middle reader that it's for the avid reader. It's for that kid that's read everything. It's whimsical. but it's also got like kind of the like staunch literariness of C.S. Lewis, of like a lot of those like kind of classic works. It's really weird too.
And it has deckled edged pages.
Yeah.
It feels very soft and special.
Yep,
Beautifully illustrated.
definitely.
Can I give a shout out to certain books that I think everybody would love? Like in terms of in the kids' room. So I didn't know this about myself till I started to work here, but I really love nonfiction. And especially for kids. And I love interactive books where kids who are becoming more intellectually rigorous and independent readers can still have lift the flaps. So Usborne in general, they're a publishing company that does great educational stuff, but it's really cool. Like you can learn about weather and storms. You can read about the body. You can read about, do animals talk to each other? You name it. Like they're in outer space. Truly, every topic pretty much, there is an Usborne book for it. And the Usborne books come in kind of degrees of deep dive. So they have a first look series that would be great for toddlers. And then they go deeper. So you could do that even up to like, say a 7 or an 8-year-old. And then from there, a lot of kids adore the DK Eyewitness books. They come in what is called Pocket Genius. So, kids love small things. Pocket Genius will, fit in the palm of your hand, and it's everything. It's elements, it's horses, dogs, cats, dinosaurs, sports, cars, you name it, minerals. Did I say that? And they also do like the large format book. And I think what kids love about them is their photographs. They're not drawings. They're photographs. And so kids just endlessly leaf through these books, and then they have a grown-up or somebody read to them the parts that explain certain photographs. But these books, like in my family, became so dog-eared. They were used and loved for easily 5 years each, because they grow with the child. They might start as something where somebody reads aloud to them, and then they become something that they're just like becoming an expert on independently. And it's also really handy as a grown-up to become so well informed about something your child has a passion for. And that's what happens with books like that. A few other new releases that this year I want to hand to people frequently. There's a beautiful book called Today, where
I love that one.
It's perfect whether you could read to yourself, or if somebody read it to you even just once, then you would be able to read it to yourself. It's oversized, hardcover. A child wakes up, what am I going to do today? And there's so many pictures of what they might eat for breakfast. And you learn about all these different foods, what they're going to wear. And then there's a lineup of all these little boys and girls wearing all these different outfits. Can you guess what they're going to do today? And it just goes through the whole today. Why do you love it?
I like that too, because it's one of those interactive ones of kids like to point and like be involved in the story. So I feel like it's a good way to bring them in that way.
Mm-hmm. Did you mention Tuck Me In?
No, we had Nathan Pyle to the store, but so that's been a big hit.
Tuck Me In blends fiction and nonfiction. The moon is telling a goodnight story, basically, to the beaches. And it's explaining how the tides came to be. And what they're like, no, tuck me in with the water. How come we can't both be tucked in at once? Well, because then the fish wouldn't have water to swim in. And so they negotiate, the moon negotiates with its two children, basically. And they take turns playing and building sandcastles while the other is tucked in. They end up talking about magnetic pull. It becomes very sciencey, but it is the sweetest bedtime story. And then there's a book called At This Time Around the World, and it tells exactly what's happening all over the world. Like, it gives you an idea of the time zones in all of these different countries. And I feel like that is like kind of nerdy, amazing.
The illustrations are so cool. in that book. They're great.
Yeah, and kind of sophisticated. They're not like pink and blue.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
What else is on your list, Nicole? What else did you want to get to?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Often when I make these lists, it's more of, well, what do I want? Because really, I'm a book addict. And so I walk around the store. I'm like, ooh, I want that. I want that. No one buys me books for Christmas. So, or the holidays in general. Like I should say, I shouldn't say Christmas just because that's what I celebrate. But yes, in general, I do not get books. But a top one that I really want is New York Times Puzzle Mania. So they put together, and it's very like sleek, sexy hardcover, all the different digital games that you can play online in a nice hardcover book. And even at the back, there's like a giant unfoldable crossword puzzle, which you can just like a jigsaw puzzle, you can probably lay on the table and everyone can kind of participate, but it's very nice. And if anyone is listening that I know, that is what I want. Hint, hint, because I'm addicted to puzzles personally. Another one I think is really nice. It's a new format. It's called New York City Storefronts, the compact edition. And it's just illustrations of all these places in New York that you can go to. And for the first time I was looking at it, I was like, ooh, I would go there and I would go there. And it's almost like a bucket list of like visiting New York, which I like to do with my girls. Like, what's some place that we can go? And that'd be great. We can just look at this book, and it's not just restaurants. It's all these different places, and it's beautifully illustrated. I love the illustrations.
It's like going to the movies and getting previews. It's a little preview.
Yeah, for sure. So I really like that. That's like something anyone could possibly enjoy. And you were saying I think it's kind of underrated, but every year they come out with the Best American series. And those are great go-tos for people who have certain areas of interest, but you don't know what, like science and nature writing or essays or food writing or short story, like science fiction, mystery. I think it's a good sample selection of something that someone might like. And we've been referring a lot, and I just want to point out that this time of year, publishers, it's their job. Like they put out what's popular. The fall season are the big guys. Like in mysteries, it's John Grisham and Louise Penny and Harlan Coben and Lee Child, Dan Brown. Like everyone knows it's like easy. You can easily sell those. But I just want to say that the backlist titles, and that's a lot of what we're talking about, those are the ones that we make sure we have on hand because those are the ones we love. Those are the ones we love selling. And to that end, with gift giving, I always tell people, well, what do you like to read? Like, what is your favorite book? Because why not give that to your friend? I love this book. Yeah. You should read it too.
So true.
When you don't know, what do you love? And that's kind of I kind of get around to that. Well, what's something that you read recently that you really liked? Maybe you can give that.
Because then it's the gift of a shared experience.
For sure. Then you can talk about it, and that you can say, oh, I just finished reading it. You were and it kind of sparks a discussion.
I also think the backlist is good to give because it's something that if you go anywhere else, nobody's going to hand you that. Or you're not going to see it out on the table necessarily, or you're not going to just reach for it and grab it and go. It's nice to read something that probably you wouldn't look for, or to be recommended something that you're like, oh, I would have never picked that up, or I would have never read that. So that's what's fun to me, is that kind of having the challenge of something or if it's someone who is a really big reader and someone's like, I have no idea what to give them. They've read everything new. Then you can try something maybe that is not as well known, which I think is nice. Because then you could discover something like, wow, I really like this author and I've never really kind of explored their titles before or something.
I mean, I have lists and lists of books. There's just so many things. And I think that's part of the conversation that can't really have with a computer is when you come in, we're talking to you, we're really trying to figure out what it is that you want. Yeah. And there's lists and lists of books in entertainment, in film, and even theater. We always get the question, Asia. They love Broadway.
They love Broadway.
They
Do you
love
have any books on Broadway?
There's finally more kids' books on Broadway.
Right?
Yeah.
Always get, that is something. And there actually is. Did you see it's called History Hiding Around Broadway?
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
It's on the table. It's like this cute little hardcover, nice illustrations, and it's arranged by theater. So it's the different theaters in the Broadway area and the history of the theater and what shows have run there. And I think it's really, the publishers finally got it. Like, we need a theater book.
Yep. I think, final thought, as much as we can do gift guides for genres of types of readers, the real experience of coming to your indie bookstore is that we are going to make sure that you find exactly what you want. And it's probably not going to be the same thing that we told the person right before you. We're specializing it to the person in front of us. And that's really like the best kind of gift. It is the personal one. And so that's our holiday gift to you, a personal book recommendation. And any final thoughts?
There is something for every single person in your life at the bookstore.
There really is.
And even if you think there isn't, there totally is. Yeah.
And looking around the kids' room here, there are, oh my gosh, so many pens and markers and coloring and games.
Notebooks.
And I'm excited being in here.
Yeah. And the truth of the matter is, like, the best thing for us is when you come in and you give us these requests to find something that's so bespoke, that is so customized for the person that you want to give it to. It excites us to help you. So please come in. We love it.
Yeah.
We love the challenge.
All right. Well, happy holidays, and we'll see you at the store.
Thank you, Asia, Nicole, Caroline, and Susie for joining us and for sharing your great recommendations and, as always, showing us your love of books. Listeners, you can find links to all these books on our website and in our show notes.
Don't miss our Festivus Friday and Small Business Saturday sales this weekend. On Friday, we offer 20% off everything in both stores, and on Saturday and Sunday, 20% off books only. Plus, on Sunday, Marnie and I will be recording another special pop-up episode of the Watchung Booksellers podcast at 54 Fairfield. We welcome all our listeners to stop by and share their favorite read of 2025, and then we'll air that next week for you to listen to.
You can get details and tickets for all of our events, story times, and book clubs through our newsletter, show notes, or at watchungbooksellers.com. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. The Watchung Booksellers podcast is produced by Catherine Council and Marnie Jessup, and it's recorded at Watchung Booksellers in Montclair, New Jersey. The show is edited by Catherine Council, and original music is composed and performed by Violet Muika. Research and show notes by Caroline Churtleff. Thank you to the staff at Watchung Booksellers and the Kids Room for all their hard work and love of books.
And thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show, please like, follow, and share it. You can follow us on social media at Watchung Booksellers. And if you have any questions or ideas, you can reach us at wbpodcast@watchungbooksellers.com.
We'll see you next time. Until then, for the love of books, keep reading.